Welcome to Detroit Lions News Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Chapman. I'm just breaking shit all around this place. Damn it. All right. That's gonna be on the pod, but no. We got a big pod plan for people. We got the mock draft that we are going to be doing on the podcast. It'll be a live mock draft. Tyler's back.
What's up, baby? What's up, y'all?
Tyler's back. And yeah, we have some big news to say because, well, the Lions were not supposed to have their uniforms leaked earlier in the day, but they end up getting leaked. But the new uniforms are out, and these are the new jerseys for the Detroit Lions. The One Pride, which I don't think anybody is saying that the new jersey. It's not a new jersey. It's basically the 90s jersey that came back. Now, I do love the blue face mask. I think it's great. And, Tyler, if you notice, they could still do the blue on blue and white on white. So that's cool. I think one of the white pants and everything. And then you got the black jersey, the Motor City Muscle. If you didn't see the helmet, it's right there, obviously in the corner. But it just the way Gibbs looks, the black stripe, black lion. It's absolutely phenomenal the way that they did this, and it's A+ in my opinion for the way that the Detroit Lions did this reconstruction of their jersey. Because let's be honest, I didn't like the last jerseys. I thought they were kind of what do you say, XFL-ish. They didn't really. The Lions are one of the original NFL teams, and have jerseys that are too like stupidly modern, and the numbers are stupid, where you can't even read them.
They weren't my favorite in the whole world, but I like that they go back to the classic font. A lot of people were complaining about like the holes and like the numbers, which actually is more of like a design to kind of help the players with a little bit. They look really breathable. So like I think they'll be really practical for playing with, but I also think they look really cool. I like that 90s block lettering, and then on the blue and the white jerseys, and then those black jerseys, dude, are just sweet. I mean, they do kind of give you some like they kind of give you some Carolina Panthers vibes a little bit, but I think they're super sick. I love. I mean, everyone has a problem with the black jerseys because we were like, when we last had black jerseys, we were like super shitty. But I love that they brought it back. It just gives us a cool like alternate, like almost like that kind of fits that like grit attitude era that like we're going for. Like kind of gives us like a villain look. So like it'll be fun to see when they roll those out. Maybe we'll roll them out against some rivals or and some. Going forward, fun to see when they roll those out.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I was posting something to the podcast, but yeah, like these uniforms are very, very sweet. I like them. The new uniforms, the black uniform looks better than I thought it would be. I didn't like the old black uniforms. I thought they were a little bit outdated. I thought they were a little bit shown, and I didn't like the white outline, the white interior. But now that they go to the black, it's like the black interior, the blue outline, as you can see here. I think the blue interior, the gray outline. I think that looks really damn good, especially like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he looks really good in it. I really do. And I think these guys, I think that helmet that they've added, that's phenomenal. That helmet that they had is absolutely phenomenal. I love it.
When you're confident and you feel like it's like look good, feel good, play good, like giving these guys something that they're proud to wear, like it just gives you a little extra fuel and like fire. I mean, like people, they just they want to, like I said, they want to feel good when they're playing, and just kind of like how Oregon has all these different like uniform combos, and they go out there and they love having that extra swag and stuff. So
I don't know if the buzzer sound is. But anyways, yeah, that's part of the deal. Like they have, I thought this was the best way that they could bring back the old uniforms. Now, the Detroit across the center, I'm not really a fan of, to be honest, on the white jerseys, but we'll deal with it. But I love the new helmets. I think those are sweet. I didn't like the gray on gray. I like the blue face mask, and I think that some of these players are going to look really damn good, especially like the ones with the visors and shit. I think it's going to look really good.
Oh yeah.
So we got a lot to get to. We got the mock draft that we are going to be doing on the podcast. We got to get to some news and notes and everything. But Tyler, since the last time you were here, I think it was like the San Francisco game. Yeah, it might have been the San Francisco game. But
after the season ended, we did a little bit of a season recap and kind of talked through. So,
but
yep.
we're back. We're back, and and for everyone that's on the live right now, if you're on the podcast, you already know. But we're on all the platforms that podcast, podcaster. You can even go on your smart device, the Amazons, the Samsungs, and listen to it there. So that's something new for this podcast. So we're broadening our reach out there, Tyler. But let's get to some comments out there. Some people that have commented. Rodney, one of the guys I work with, he said, "What up, man?" And I say, "What up?" And obviously, this is what it is. And if your comments, everyone that's watching right now, your comments on the new uniforms would be great. So if you have your comments, let them know. We'll read your comments as we go. But we have the mock drafts that we did separate from each other. So Tyler, you can go with your mock draft first, and then I'll go with my mock draft second.
Yeah, so starting off, obviously for the first, kind of our final mock, or at least getting close to with the draft coming up. We've got some stuff that's starting to shape up. So the way I see this, I got us picking 29. I mean, that's assuming I do have a feeling we either trade up or trade down. Brad Holmes doesn't like to stay still, but for this draft purpose, I just kept all the picks the same. We got I went with 29. I was going with Kool-Aid McKinstry, the corner out of Alabama. Like I said, I think a couple really big areas of opportunity are going to be defensive line and corner this year. So had to go out and get one of the top corners available. And then I have us at 61 taking Braden Fisk, defensive tackle from Florida State. Really athletic guy, can kind of do 5-tech, 3-tech, kind of can line up anywhere, a lot of versatility. And I think that's something that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell both really like, is that versatility. At 73, I got Cedric Van Prangranger. I don't know if I said that right or not. He's a offensive lineman out of Georgia. A little bit raw, but has the right tools, and I really am confident in this offensive line coaching staff. So I think that getting someone like that for depth that can really kind of shore up the guard positions, or maybe slide in and play tackle if injury occurs or anything like that. It's important. Also has played a little bit of center at Georgia, so. Just having a guy that's versatile is important. And then I got Cedric Johnson, edge rusher at Ole Miss at 164. I've got AJ Barner, tight end at Michigan at 201. And then I've got Edafuan Ulofoshio, linebacker out of Washington at 205. And then last pick at 249, Will Reichert, the kicker from Alabama. So, like I said, I think it touches on a few positions of need. It really gives us an opportunity to shore up some offensive line depth, some defensive line, corner, linebacker, tight end. Just kind of puts a little bit of cherry on the top for all those positions. One unique thing about this draft is that we don't really have a ton of glaring needs, so we kind of can just go best player available. I mean, I know we're looking at someone to be opposite of Aiden to help get to the quarterback, and we also need some cornerback help. But outside of that, these are just kind of a luxury draft. I mean, you're coming off a 12-win season, and we're just hoping to be able to add to this. So yeah, that was my mock, and I'm hoping we at least come away with a couple of those guys. I like who I'm seeing.
Yeah, so my mock is very simple. We're gonna do our team mock too. So we're gonna do our together mock. But for me personally, I think that getting a guy I think they need to focus on the offensive line, but I do think that they're going to trade up. I have inklings that they're going to trade up. I think they will trade up. But, Brett Holmes spoke today. He said that, the offensive line is the lifeblood of his team, and that's what they're going to build on. So I did this mock draft just based on that. So at 29, I picked Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon. We don't know how long Frank Ragnow will actually play. We know that he's been dealing with injuries after injuries after injuries, but he's been toughing through it. But there's going to come a point where he's going to say, I'm just going to hang it up. So that's a good spot right there to get him. The 61st pick, I get the wide receiver from North Carolina, Devontae Walker. And I know a lot of detractors are going to talk about how he struggled this year when he came back. He was dealing with that whole NCAA was they were challenging him on if he was going to play this year. He comes back later in the year. Isn't really in the scheme of things. He kind of has a slow start, drops a lot of balls. Kind of reminded me of Jameson Williams, to be honest. Like when Jameson Williams came back, you remember this, Tyler. When Jameson Williams came back, one of the things that we noticed about him was it took him a little bit of time to get acclimated to the offense, get acclimated to Jared Goff's throws, get acclimated to timing. And that's some of the things that happen when you start a season. You start a season late. Like if you're starting a season week 5, week 6, it's going to take you to probably week 14, week 15. But we talked about that on the podcast. But that's what I look at with those. So, and then I got at 73, the 3rd round pick, we have Xavier Thomas from Clemson. I'm not really a huge fan of this pick. What I can say is he does do a lot of great things in terms of rushing the passer. That's one of the things I can look at. And then everyone on planet Earth knows that I'm not really the biggest Michigan fan. But I have 2 Michigan players going back-to-back in this draft because I really do think that they're great players. Zach Zentor, because he's going to need a redshirt year. You can redshirt him. You got Graham Glasgow. You got Kobe Sorsdahl. You got Zeitler. You don't really need to start him off the hop. So that's what I look at with that. You don't need to start him off the hop. So if he has to come back week 7, week 8, week 9 off his leg injury, it doesn't hurt nothing. It really doesn't. And then I take a cornerback, Josh Wallace. And now Josh Wallace, he's probably the most underrated cornerback for the Michigan Wolverines last year. I know there's Will Johnson. I know there's Mikey Sanders still. But when teams figured out that Will Johnson was a baller, and when teams found out that Mikey Sanders still was a damn good quarterback, they went to Josh Wallace. And they started throwing at him religiously. And his 3 best games were against Ohio State, it was against Alabama, and it was against Washington. Those were his 3 best games. So when teams were throwing at him and he played the best competition, he came to play. I thought that was very, very, his passer rating against was very good. The only thing that he struggled against is in the run game. But listen, this is a 5th round corner. You're not going to get that much, you know what I'm saying? But you're not
we got guys that can help stuff around. I mean, we got Brian Branch and we got Kirby and we got guys that can.
Yeah, you're not going to get the perfect prospect in the 5th round. Right. Usually, Brett Holmes has set a pretty good precedent of, drafting Amon-Ra St. Brown and drafting these guys. But to be honest, it's not always going to happen. So that's what I look at with Josh Wallace. I think he's a good one. I took Christian Boyd of Northern Iowa, the defensive lineman. He's really good, man, and he's coming from a kind of like a FCS school, not really known. But I think he'll rise up the draft boards by next week. By his time next week, I think that he's going to go in the 3rd, 4th round. I don't think he's going to be in the 6th round. And then round 7, pick 249, I picked Harrison Mevis, the kicker from Missouri. And the kid's got a bomb for a leg. I've seen him win multiple games. And I remember just watching the Tennessee game that he played. He hit some 55-yarder with ease. It was with ease. And it was into the wind. And I remember that, damn, I was like, this is a game that they're probably going to lose, like the Volunteers. But the Volunteers didn't lose because the Volunteers are badass. But Joe Milton was their quarterback, so that was another reason. But that's what it is. So that was my mock draft for the people, Tyler. And I just I don't know. I feel like that was a pretty damn good mock draft for my.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, I mean, like I said, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what we come up with. We might see some surprises. And I'm just, winning 12 games, and like how, Jared Goff was talking on an interview saying we don't want to really be the underdog anymore. We want to shed that label. So teams are going to be coming after you. Teams are going to be on your back. Teams are going to be on your ass. Teams are going to understand that you're a real team and you're a good team. So you have to get better through the draft. You have to build depth. You can't just sneak by anymore and just all of a sudden be like, oh, yeah, we look at us. Hee we accidentally got 12 wins. No, teams are they know that you're for real now. And so it's going to take depth. I mean, look at the teams that made it the furthest. The Chiefs and the Niners have some of them the deepest defenses in the entire league. I mean, the Chiefs' offense this year was pretty laughable, and Patrick Mahomes kind of was playing like like 2009 Jay Cutler. But like they had an amazing defense, and I just think that as long as we shore that up, losing Cam Sutton to that whole situation, and just not having, being able to sign, Carlton Davis, and hopefully going out in the draft and getting a couple corners. Like, we know that our secondary has been the weakest link of our defense for quite some time. And I think we're finally ready to put that to rest, and we've got to get some talent over there. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. And then also, we can't have Aiden being double teamed and triple teamed every single freaking play.
No.
We got some help on the line. So this will be an important draft for trenches and offensive line, defensive line, and cornerbacks. So hopefully, we're able to kind of get some more talent flowing through the team here.
Yeah, I think what you just said is right. It's crazy because this draft really could really propel us in terms of the way that we put it together. And like, I think that, a lot of people didn't like the off season. And we didn't get your opinions on the off season, Tyler. I mean, because you were a little bit, you were occupied with some other stuff. So, I mean, what do you think about the DJ Reader and Amik Robertson and Carlton Davis? The signings, like the trades and everything.
Yeah, and first off, man, like I said, I'm happy to be back. I'm ready to lock in this year. I just wanted to let all you guys know, I was dealing with some family stuff and some personal stuff, so all that, is kind of getting a little better or whatever, kind of resolving itself. So, had some some bad news with some family health issues and stuff. So we're getting ready to lock in, man. We're gonna have a good, good rest of the off season and lock in for the beginning of the season. I'm super happy to have all you guys here and hang out and talk football with you guys. So I just want to say thank you for your love and support, and appreciate you, Joe. You're always a homie, and
yep.
So, but anyways, man, as far as the acquisitions go, the Amik Robertson, I really like that move actually. I mean, he's a little undersized, but he's one of those guys. It's like, it's not about the dog, like the dog in the fight. It's about the fight in the dog. So he's like, he's a little like ball of energy. It's kind of what we wanted CJ Gardner-Johnson to be, as far as like using that energy and that vibe. Because it's funny, because we went out and got a guy who still fits that bill, like confident, kind of will talk your shit, has that high energy, but he does it more of like a team way and not a way that you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So I really like that energy. That
he's not gonna wave. He's not gonna wave bye to the crowd.
Right. So like we went and got a guy that was like high energy, but like not disrespectful. And I think that fits our culture a little bit, like a little bit better or whatever. But I love that signing. And then DJ Reader, dude, we absolutely needed a freaking block eating, run stuffing. Like, it reminds me of the Snacks Harrison signing, but like Snacks was, I think, 33 when he signed with us. So I think DJ Reader's 29. So we basically get, our new age version of Snacks Harrison at 4 or 5 years younger. So I really like that move a lot. And then Carlton Davis, I mean, Tampa Bay put him in a lot of zone scheme where he kind of was exposed, but he is a very physical man-to-man specialist as a corner. So I think this gives us the ability to run more man, and I think that's a good thing. I know Aaron Glenn likes to run man, and I think that shoring up, like, those are 3 really good depth signings. And if you take, like, notice how we didn't make any crazy splashes, we didn't make any crazy trades, we didn't throw the absolute bag at anybody. Like, they're smart, calculated, small changes that I think are going to equate to, sustainability and like longevity of the team being able to succeed. I mean, that's what you need. You need decent deals at signings. Like DJ Reader, we got him for $13 million a year. Amik Robertson, we got him for like $3 or $4 million a year. I mean, it helps when you can get guys on deals like that really have like a love and passion for football, and they want to come in here and like prove something. So I love that, man. So I think we did a pretty good job. I know a lot of people, and even including me in the past, have been on Brad Holmes' ass about being more aggressive. But now that I'm seeing how it's panning out, I'm kind of leaning more towards your philosophy, where like you get too overly aggressive, you end up being a flash in the pan, and you end up burning up, and you end up being a one-hit wonder, and then you're back in fucking, sorry, excuse my language, you're back in freaking cap hell, man. You're in purgatory, and you suck again in 5 or 6 years. Like, it looks like every time they make moves like this each offseason, it truly does look like Brad Holmes is trying to set this up for like sustainable success, which is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, what you just said is perfectly, acceptable, because the way I look at it is, these two guys, the guys DJ Reader that they added, Davis, Amik Robertson, like you said, is a bulldog. I do like the way he reads the ball, to be honest. He's very, very skilled. DJ Reader, if you add him to this defense with Lee McNeil, with Aiden Hutchinson, with James Houston at the moment, with Marcus Davenport, Josh Pascal, you open up a lot of opportunities where those two in the middle are going to kill teams, because you can't double them both. And you're going to have to double Aiden. You're going to have to double Aiden. So I'm thinking that the Detroit Lions are kind of feeling this way. And I'm thinking that they're thinking, if we get these two guys in the middle and we can open up a guy like James Houston or Josh Pascal, or maybe a guy like, if they draft a guy like Darius Robertson or Xavier Thomas, like I had in my draft. Those are some of the things that can really make this team like legit.
Well, especially have two guys in the middle like that, you might see a lot of interior sacks from like Lee McNeil, because DJ Reader's eating up those blocks. Where like Lee McNeil's not a block eater. He's not that big. He's more of I'm not comparing him to, but more of an Aaron Donald type as far as like athletic. Yep. Try to get to the quarterback, a little bit slightly undersized, but quick, fast, agile. Now, don't come after me, guys. I'm not saying Lee McNeil's anywhere close to Aaron Donald, but similar. Seems like he kind of models his game that way. So with having DJ Reader in the middle, it'll probably allow Lee McNeil to really up his sack total from that interior position of the line, which is going to be cool. Which is going to be really cool to see.
Yeah, but the thing about what they did with Lee McNeil, like Lee McNeil was a top 5 defensive tackle last year. If we're going to be totally honest with each other, like that's just what it was. So they did a damn good job of addressing some needs that they needed, and we're going to address some needs right now in this mock draft. And if you're on the podcast, we did this live. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We're on Twitter too. We have a couple X viewers. So thank you for listening to all those X viewers. But we're going to do the mock draft. We're going to go through it kind of player by player. I'm going to give you some names to watch out for. Tyler's going to have some, maybe there's a guy that he wants to look at in the second or third round. But we're going to kind of go through this together. So let's do it.
Yes, sir. I'm zooming in a little bit. For some reason, the StreamYard doesn't like to work on my laptop, so I always have to have it more.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. But we're going to start the draft, and we're going to get to the pick 29. And right now at pick 29, there's Troy Franklin. There's Peyton Wilson, the linebacker from North Carolina State. There's Tyler Nubin, the safety from Minnesota. Ladd McConkey, Zach Frazier. Kool-Aid McKinstry went to Buffalo. Nate Wiggins went to Arizona. This would be the ultimate draft that you'd be like, what the hell, dude? Nothing went our way, because every pick 25 through 28, Newton, Mitchell, Wiggins, Kool-Aid. Even ahead of them with Dallas, you had Jackson Powers Johnson, Grant Barton, Brian Thomas to Philadelphia, Jared Verse to Miami.
Come on. Yeah, that is really rough. If we were given this choices, I don't know about you personally, I'm probably going more towards like Zach Frazier, the center out of West Virginia.
Zach Frazier. Yep.
So I've seen him in quite a few mocks already. He seems to go leaning towards us. He's a really good lineman, and I think if the draft was totally screwy, we didn't trade up, and this is how the blocks fell, I think that this probably has to be the selection.
And his brown black grade was really good. I don't really value the grades on Pro Football Focus, but I do like to use them as a resource. His run block grade was 75.3, was really good. Pass block grade was really good. His zone grade was good. His gap grade was good. He didn't allow any sacks last year. He allowed 3 kits on the quarterback, 3 hurries, and I believe he was playing with a broken foot. So, this is the way it goes. Some say he's an early 2-day pick. This is what Pro Football Focus is saying. But again, he's not going to be asked to start for the Detroit Lions, so he can kind of learn under Frank Ragnow. What a better player to learn under than Frank Ragnow? So if we're in conjunction with getting Zach Frazier, this is the way we have to go.
Yep.
So we go with Zach Frazier at pick 29. Oh, shit. You know what? It only did the first round, so we're going to be they said we should have drafted Chop Robinson, which I don't believe that. But I forgot to put the 7th round, so we're gonna do that now. But this is what it is. It is what it is. Why am I echoing so much?
I don't know.
All right. Anyways,
not echoing on my end.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it's weird. But all right, let's do the 7th round draft. We did the first round. For some reason, the Pro Football Focus kind of screwed it up. Hopefully, we get some better players. To be honest. All right, this one we do get some better players. We do get Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon, who I do like. If you look at Jackson Powers Johnson, again,
dude, he's a monster, and he's cousins with Penei Sewell, bro. I lock it in.
So yeah, this is a guy I would lock in. I really would. I think he's I think this is another guy. He could learn in behind Frank Ragnow, and if you look at the analysis, I mean, they say he has short arms even for an interior player, but you know what?
That's his only con.
That's his only con, and you know what? That was once Jason Kelsey's con too.
Absolutely.
So, let's go Jackson Powers Johnson in the first round, and if we're going back to the first round of the last draft where we only did the first round, we got stuck with Zach Frazier because the whole board sucked. So we got it. So in this one, we got some players that we could actually look at for the Detroit Lions. There's some good players on the board. Chris Jenkins from Michigan, the defensive tackle, run stop rate 12.6. Pass rush win rate was 11.0.
I hate to be the guy who just takes the top guy on the board, but if this how the board fell, I wouldn't mind Chris Jenkins here. I kind of like that pick. So I'll let you kind of take the reins on this. Like I said, I don't want to be the nerds who just like take the top guy every time, but like Chris Jenkins wouldn't be a bad pick here at all.
Yeah, Chris Jenkins wouldn't be a bad pick here. I mean, I look at like another guy like Jonah Ellis.
That pass rush win rate is insane.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. His pass
almost
rush
18%.
And you know, his dad was Luther Ellis, who played with the Lions. So I don't know. I look at Jonah Ellis and I go, okay, this could be a good pick, but I do like Chris Jenkins. I do like the guy that's on the board at 60, Christian Haynes, the guard from UConn. If you're looking for a guard, but obviously I think if you can get Zach Zenner later in the draft, that would be the ideal pick to go with because he can sit for a little bit and you really don't have to. You can put him on the PUP list and he doesn't count against the roster. But this guy's gonna be a stud, Christian Haynes. I do think he's gonna be a stud. But the guy there's a couple guys. Marshawn Nealon, the kid from Western Michigan. Look at that pass rush win rate, 17.3. He had 6 sacks this year, 28 hurries, 3 hits, and then he was fantastic. He was over the tackle a couple of times. He was outside the tackle. He was off the ball. So we see there's some position versatility right there. I do like that. And look, he's a Western Michigan kid, but his analysis, I mean, he didn't play the best competition. We all know that the MAC's not the greatest competition, but I think if you can put him next to DJ Reader, I think you can put him next to Lee McNeil, maybe move him to the inside, put James Houston on the outside. This could be a legitimate ad for this Detroit Lions team.
Yeah.
So that's where I go with there.
Yeah, but I think like I said, I think we have to go like I said, edge rusher or line. I mean, to me, it would be probably between I don't know, Chris Jenkins or Jonah Ellis, but I do like the Western Michigan kid, but that would probably be where I'd be at for the one of those top two. Just someone that we can kind of get on that line to help.
So where would you go in this particular? Now we do got some trades on the board. Let's see who could be traded. Kansas City wants to trade up. We would drop 3 picks. Carolina wants to trade up. We would drop 4 picks. Chicago wants to trade up, and we would lose probably around 15 picks, 14 picks.
What's between the Chiefs and the Panthers? What are they offering?
Well, let's see. So Carolina has 64, 95, 131, 159 from Dallas, a compensatory pick of 173. So if you say, let's take 64, let's give them 61. Let's give no, they won't do that. Let's say you take 131. Would you be open to that? All right, let's see what happens. This is what happens. Trade is accepted. We're gonna drop 3 rounds. Chris Jenkins went to Baltimore. John Harbaugh. So now we have our pick, Mr. Tyler. We have our pick. So
I would say I like Jonah Ellis here, man.
I like Jonah Ellis as well, but I honestly would think about taking Marshawn.
All right, screw it. Let's take Marshawn Nealon then.
Let's take Marshawn Nealon. Let's go with that. So we dropped a couple picks. We gained a pick. We're good to go. Let's see what happens. We take him. Now we get to Detroit at 73. Not really the best top prospects in terms of the board. I think we should be looking at a cornerback here. So let's see what cornerbacks are available. But there is a guy in Devontae Walker who I took with my mock draft. I just want you to look at I want you to look at this, Tyler. So he played in 8 games last year because the NCAA was stupid and they were like, hold up, guys, you might be ineligible. So he was ineligible. He came in, played 8 games. I felt like the first couple games he was trying to get his feet under him. Wasn't really that great. I thought he really started off really bad. His drop rate he was dropping balls early when he came back, and he was kind of slow to come out. And he got better against man coverage. So, but what I look at is, we all know that Brad Holmes loves contested catch rate. His contested catch rate is 58.8. And I look at that and I go, that's a dog right there. Now, obviously, let's look at the cornerbacks and the wide receivers, or you got wide receivers. I mean, there's not anybody that's a contested catch rate, and they're all down there. I mean, you got Javon Baker, but Javon Baker is 6'1". We need a bigger wide receiver, and Tez Walker is 6'2", 200 pounds. I mean, and this is what the Pro Football Focus says. They say he has the makings of a game-changing wide receiver. When he was at Kent State in 2022, he played against Washington, Oklahoma, Georgia to start the season. Not only looked like he would belong, but he was the best player in the field at times, which is saying a lot because that 22 Georgia team was stacked. He's incredibly explosive. He consistently catches with his hand and can stand grabs through contact. In 2023, his footwork wasn't any precise, but he was much better in 2022. You can credit that to him not playing in the first 4 games. His route running is based on him winning vertically. He needs to be more nuanced, diverse, and precise if he wants to be consistently get by NFL cornerbacks. And that's basically what it is. So,
who we got at corner? If there's not a lot of names I like at corner, I definitely would probably consider him.
So let's look at corner. They got Kyrie Jackson. Kyrie Jackson is is a corner from Oregon. He's one of the top on the board. Completion percentage 50%, which is not that great when you look at the competition that he played against. I mean, his worst game was against Washington. I think Michael Penix is a damn good quarterback. So I look at that. And USC with Caleb Williams, one of his worst times. Then he's better against Washington the second time. There's not much there for Kyrie Jackson. If we look at Ronaldo Green from Florida State, run defense, look how bad that is, 61.8.
His man coverage, though, is insane.
The man coverage is really good. Completion percentage is 51.7. His zone coverage grade is 68.1. His forced incompletion was 6 in the NCAA. And you look at some of the teams that he played, Clemson, Virginia Tech, ACC wasn't great, but he played Jaden Daniels and had one of his best games. I like Ronaldo Green in terms of him. And then you got, let's look at Kalen Carson. This is a guy who is 6 foot, 195. He's not your big stereotypical corner, but his completion percentage 56.3. Man coverage grade was 61%.
What's our next pick after this?
So our next pick after this is 131. So I think if you wait till 131, you might be able to get guys like, for instance, like I would go with Cam Hart. I mean, this is a guy that's I think
You
could
like
be
you like
legit.
DJ James at all or no?
Sorta. If his run defense is brutal, his completion
Yeah.
percentage is meh. He
Yeah.
played in the SEC. Some of his best games came against the worst competition in the SEC. I mean, I don't think KJ Jefferson is a great freaking player, quarterback, but he allowed 385 yards last year. He really didn't get much better in terms. His passer rating went up actually to 87.4 last year, which is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
a
worried
player.
about if we wait, if we go grab receiver, that if we wait on corner, like we're not going to have much to choose from.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot to choose from. I think this is a deep draft in terms of corners. I don't think there's elite level corners in this draft once you get outside the first round. So, I mean, I look at a guy like Jaron Jones again.
Shoot, man, screw it. Let's go take the homie from UNC.
So we're gonna take the homie from UNC, Devontae Walker. He is the highest ranked player on the board in terms of our wide receivers and cornerback. So we are going to take him at 73. And then we're waiting, Tyler. We are waiting. And we get to our pick. Now it's interesting because ahead of us, let's go through some of these teams that have drafted. Brendan Rice to the Broncos. Kalen Carson, who we did like, went to the Bengals. Tyke Smith went to Jacksonville. Ben Sinnott, that's a pretty damn good pick for the Vikings at 108. Jamari Thrash to the Chargers. I'm sure Justin Herbert will like that. Christian Mahogany went to the Seattle Seahawks at 102. Man, that's a good pick. But yeah, Braylon Trice, edge rusher, went to the Cincinnati Bengals. I do like that. Cooper Beebe to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Man, they just keep getting better. But we look at the board right now, and the best player on the board is Audric Estime, which is the halfback from Notre Dame. Again, he's not that great of a player, to be honest, but it is what it is.
Down a little bit. What about
we got Tanner Bortolini. If my girlfriend heard me butcher Italian name, we'd have some issues. Well, now it's fiance. His zone, he's good in pass grade. His pass block grade is pretty good, but his run block this is a guy that you would kind of wait on to. We already drafted a center in Jackson Powers Johnson, so we're not really worried about center. But that's just kind of what you're looking at. Cole Bishop, the safety.
How's Jarvis Brownlee or whatever from LSU? What's his numbers looking like?
It's not great. Coverage grade was 78.1. He allowed 4 TDs last year. His passer rating against was 100.2. I'm not really a fan of that. Yeah, let's look at the corners on the board right now. So the corners on the board: Jarvis Brownlee. You got Miles Harden. Some of these guys that we were talking about were on the board. This guy, I don't know how he's so high, but whatever. But you got Cam Hart. You got Kalen King, the kid from Detroit. And it's not really. There's not. If I'm gonna go here, honestly, let's see who they got at interior offensive line. Zach Zenner still available.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's lock it in.
Do you want to go Zach Zenner or do you want to go Cam Hart?
It's up to you.
Don't put that evil on me. All right, we're gonna go. So we're at pick 131 right now.
We can just hope that Zach Zenner falls to us. Let's go corner.
Yeah, let's go corner. Let's go to corner from Notre Dame. Cam Hart. I think Cam Hart. Let's look. I haven't took a look at him. Not bad. His run defense isn't that great, but his passer rating went up again. So not really someone that I'm really interested in, to be honest. So let's go Cam Hart at the pick we have right now. So now we're waiting. Let's see if Zach Zenner gets to us. It'd be really great if he did get to us. Let's see. He did. Zach Zenner. So we're in conjunction with this pick. Zach Zenner is our pick at 164. So this is good. This is a good pick because, like
Yeah,
you
this is a
said,
potential late first round, early second round guy before his injury. It's going to take a team that has patience and has time to work with him. It's a perfect fit.
yeah, and like we said though, like Zach Zenner, again, he doesn't have to come in here and play high minutes. He doesn't have to rush his timeline of his injury. And then if you look at his grades, like look at these grades. These are fantastic grades. 0 sacks allowed last year. I know he played in 2 last games. He broke his leg, but Jesus, Pete, 0 sacks. His gap grade was 72.2. His zone grade was 72.9. The run block grade was 75.8. They're all green. And his best games came against Penn State, which is a good team. Maryland, he left that Ohio State game late in that, but look, I don't care about the grades. I care more about the stats. 0 sacks allowed and 3 sacks allowed in your whole career, and you played a lot of snaps. I mean, we're talking about maybe 2,300 snaps that he's played, and you allowed 3 sacks. I'm gonna take it. So this is a no. Let's see what the Pro Football Focus says about him. They say he's a below average athlete for the guard position. Taller height makes him more length, but also makes him tougher to get low for leverage. Nimble footwork for his size. I always love these kinds. Light in the pants. Most of the
Zach
weight.
Zenner's got a little penis. Little light in the pants, man. That's
most of his.
What a tough scouting report. I'd be like, ooh, that's
some of these scouting reports are just so funny to me because they'll say something like, "Oh, he's got a little bit too much nimbleness to him." I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? But we're taking Zach Zenner here. I don't care. We're taking him.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
So we got 3 picks remaining. We got 201, 205, and 2489.
Definitely not taking a punter.
No, we're not. We got Jack Fox. We don't need a punter. Now here,
are you interested in any like tight end depth at this point?
I would be interested in some tight ends. Let's see what the tight ends are available. We got AJ Barner, who's from Michigan. His contested catch rate is
I
really
like his run. I like his run blocking.
Yeah, his run block. He's a good run blocker. We know that for sure. The guy from Illinois, Tip Riemann, I think he's decent. Again, he's not going to be some stud like Sam Laporta, and we don't need a stud like Sam Laporta, but that is just what it is. I do like Trey Knox, but his contested catch rate, like I said, is not that great. Let's look at the kid from Washington, Jack Westover. He kind of reminded me of a little bit, but his drop rate was 2.1. His run block grade was 73.3, so that's pretty good. Contested catch rate 50%, so he was pretty damn good. Isaac Rex from BYU.
I think so we have, hold on. I would say I'm open to that Washington tight end was probably our one of our next picks, but I think we can probably get some better value here.
Let's look at here's what I want to ask you.
Dylan Johnson, he's a dog.
Here's what I want to ask you. I know people are they love Jahmyr Gibbs. They love Dave Montgomery, but I understand that, sometimes running backs could fall off the face of the earth. They just can't. So if you're looking at a running back right now, I think I look at 2 of these guys in particular. I look at Jace McClellan from Alabama. He's 5'11", 212. He's pretty good. His elusive rating was 87.1. Yards after contact was 3.2. He had 49 missed tackles, which was top 50 in the top 51 in the NCAA. He played some good competition. Alabama played Michigan. They played Tennessee. They played LSU. They played Texas A&M, Texas, and his yards after contact was pretty good as well. And he had 1 drop as a player. Dylan Johnson, though, the one thing I can say about him is he kind of reminds me of a guy that would be like perfect for Dan Campbell. He grinds it out. He toughens it out. He played with a broken foot, I believe, in the playoff. And he's just absolutely a dog. Yards after contact, top 50 in the NCAA. He's not a route runner. Carries a 15-plus yards. He had 15 throughout the year. His best games came in the biggest moments against Michigan State, against Arizona, against USC, against Utah, Oregon. and Texas and Michigan, Michigan, he was hurt too. So that's something.
Well, you got to just basically say is Dylan Johnson has the potential to be better than say Craig Reynolds or running back 3, which the answer to that is
right.
probably
Well, no, yeah. And then you got a guy like Frank Gore Jr., who the name is synonymous with himself. I mean, he's legit yard. Look at that yards after contact, 824th, 16th in the league in the NCAA, 67 missed tackles forced. I mean, I really do like Frank Gore Jr. here, to be honest. I like Dylan Johnson here. Is there any other position that you're like looking at that you're like?
I mean, maybe double up on corner or safety.
Let's see the cornerbacks that are available right now.
Josh Wallace.
Josh Wallace is still on the board. Like I told you guys,
here what I would be interested in. Hear me out here. If you're interested in this, I would say if we can get this the way it's broken down with their rating or with their rankings right now, if we could go like Dylan Johnson, that tight end from Washington, and then if we could finish it out with Josh Wallace, I think I would be pretty happy.
Well, what if we did it like this, Tyler? We take Dylan Johnson here at 201. And then 205, we see who's still on the board. But 249, I think we should reserve for maybe a kicker, maybe.
I like Josh Wallace at 205.
Yeah. So do you want to take, I mean, let's see these cornerbacks on the board. There's Elijah Jones for his man coverage grade is pretty damn good. His completion percentage is really good. Would you have any thoughts about taking Elijah Jones?
Yeah. I mean, what does it say? What's his 40? Does it say his speed?
Let's see. Nope.
No.
Let's see. 6'2", 184. If that helps anything. But just I mean, his stats alone, they're kind of eye-popping.
I do like that. Yeah, I mean, would you be opposed to being able like in the back half of this, just like loading up on corner? I mean, because like if we went, what was his name? The dude at the top.
That was Elijah Jones.
Say we went like Elijah Jones, Dylan Johnson, and then Josh Wallace. I mean, is that too many corners in the draft?
I mean, I don't think.
Or do you let him fight? Do you let him fight it out and see who can survive?
I mean, if we're gonna pick a corner, would it be Elijah Jones or Josh Wallace? I think we should go with Elijah Jones.
I like Elijah Jones there. I do. He dude. After you showed me his grades, that dude's a dog.
All right, let's go Elijah Jones at pick 201. At 205, the Lions are back on the board, and I think this one is synonymous right here, Tyler. I think we're gonna go running back here with Dylan Johnson.
Yeah, I like that pick.
All right, cool. And then we get to we're getting to the last pick at 249. This is going to be very, very interesting, Tyler, because the best player on the board right now is Will Reichert. The third best player is Cam Little, the kicker from Arkansas.
Go to that tight end again. I want to see if he's still there.
The Westover?
Yeah.
He should be available. Yeah, he's still available.
I think, because hear me out. If in this scenario, if we keep Badgley for the time being and then we end up signing Jake Bates, we can use this pick on a backup tight end.
Okay, so what you're saying right here is you're saying that we would sign Jake Bates from the UFL, the Michigan Panthers.
Yes, sir.
And then you would want to go for tight end. And that's a reasonably good perspective. Westover is pretty talented, but you got Will Reichert. This is a guy I like on the board. I know we took a center, so it don't matter. But if there's a player, well, I think Zinner is a guard. But if we get to the later rounds and we're looking for a center, this is a guy that I would kind of look at is Dylan McMahon. I really like him. You look at his pass grade, his run block grade. He allowed 1 sack, 3 sacks. He's a pretty damn good player. But then you look at there's the quarterback, and then I'm trying to see if my guy is on the board. The Oregon State. Trente Jones is on the board for a tackle. He's a safety for Oregon State. It's like Oladipo or whatever. Now, Tyler's a huge Pistons fan. He wanted Oladipo in the draft for the Pistons.
Yeah.
Nope,
Jeez.
he's gone. So I think what you laid out for the people is a really good pick. Do you have any inklings of maybe a quarterback, like a backup quarterback? I mean, I know we drafted Hendon Hooker last year.
No,
His
I think we're safe there. I mean, sometimes teams do that if they, if they're, eh. I like I said, I personally I like Jack West over there, and and this is on the precedence that we're gonna sign Jake Bates. I actually think it's a real possibility, and I would really like it because that dude nails kicks, man.
yeah. Then we got the guy that
My
your
guy's up there.
yeah, your guy's up there, and we're gonna look at his stats. Coverage grade is 90. That's great. Missed tackle rate is 11.4. It could be better there. This is Idafian Fascio. What is First of all, I feel for any team that drafts him because this is gonna be a hell of a name to look at. He's a 6'1", 236 pound linebacker.
Yeah,
From
he's a little small for sure.
From Anchorage, Alaska. That's his smallness is probably going to hurt him. Dallas Gant,
His run
Toledo.
defense.
His run defense is really good. His pass rush grade is not that great, but his missed tackle rate is really good. That's pretty special. We're just kind of going through some of these guys. I don't see anybody at the linebacker position, Tyler. You know what? I think that the tight end, like you said, Jack Westover would be. So let's go through it with these people. Trey Knox, his contested catch rate 25. We know that Brett Holmes loves a contested catch rate.
Sure.
So if you're not a good contested catch rate, you probably won't have a spot on the Detroit Lions, in my opinion. And Trey Knox is 6'5", 237. He's a huge dude, but you gotta win those contested catch rates. And when we look at Jack Westover, 50% contested catch rate. He was a pretty damn good. He was a great tight end. 4 TDs this year, 433 yards, receptions 46. He was targeted 56 times. He's just a guy that I think last year he showed out, and I think this is a guy that we should definitely take right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take Jack Westover, and that is going to do it for the draft for us. Let's save this. They're grading our draft right now. Let's see what we got, Tyler. We should have drafted Jonah Ellis instead of Marshawn Kneeland. I can see their point, but whatever. They gave us a C for drafting Jackson Powers Johnson, which is just
that's wild. That'd be a great pick.
They gave us an A-, which they said we picked the wrong player at edge for Marshawn Kneeland. Devontae Walker, another C. Cam Hart, another C. Zach Zenner, A-. Elijah Jones, a C. Dylan Johnson, a C. They're going to C's, and we got our draft rank was top 75 of Lions draft. So, shove it. Take that, shit.
I mean, this isn't, and again, if this is how the board played out, this may not be a sexy draft or like an ooh and ah draft, but I actually think like if this was our draft, I would walk away pretty happy with it. Like I really would. I mean, especially the way the board played out. Like this is, I feel like a more realistic draft. The people are like, oh, well, I traded up and got Quinion Mitchell, and then I got Mike Sanistrell, and then we got, and then we got Zach Zinter, and then we got, Xavier Worthy, and it's like, okay, like you're just gonna go and get all the best names out in the draft. Like that's not how the draft ends up playing out ever.
So let's look at the first round for this draft. That we didn't draft the first round, but they did. Let's see if there's any picks that we disagree with in the first round, Tyler, just to be honest. So Caleb Williams went number 1 at Chicago. I think that's a foregone conclusion. Drake May, quarterback, went to Washington.
Jaden Daniels is going there.
You think Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback?
No, not necessarily better, but he's the better fit for Washington, and he's more like he's ready to start. And in Washington, I'm not gonna say I know for a fact because I don't know. I'm not inside the room, but it's all signs are leaning towards they like Jaden Daniels more than Drake May, definitely.
Yeah. Now this New England Patriots pick is absolutely wild to me. Like it's kind of stupid to me, to be honest. I mean,
if they were at 3 and Drake May went 2, they'd be drafting Jaden Daniels at 3. I'm pretty positive.
Where is Jaden Daniels going? To Minnesota at 11?
Nah.
That don't make any sense. Okay, well let's not skip ahead. At 3, the Patriots pick Marvin Harrison Jr. At 4, I do like this pick, Roma Dunze to Arizona to help out short man Kyler Murray. And he goes there. Malik Neighbors to the Chargers. They don't need a quarterback, so that's a good pick. Joe Alt goes to New York. They need a quarterback. Why wouldn't they take Jane Daniels? If
They
don't, why would the Giants do it? You know what I'm saying? Terrion Arnold goes to the Titans at 7. Quinyon Mitchell goes at 8 to the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't think the Falcons pass up on Dallas Turner, to be honest with you.
Oh no, I don't. And if Dallas Turner went to Chicago, that's nightmare fuel. I don't want that to happen at all. But Dallas Turner goes to Chicago.
The Jets, Brock Bowers. That's realistic. That's very realistic.
Yeah, because Brock Bowers being a Jet is a foregone conclusion. At 11, the Vikings take Jaden Daniels without even trading up, which is just kind of stupid the way that this board has fallen. JJ McCarthy, the Broncos, I do like that. I think JJ is going to be a pretty damn good quarterback. Troy Fatanu, tackle, goes to Vegas. I don't think that's a Vegas pick. I think Vegas is going to pick the fastest player on the board. Saints pick J.C. Latham, the tackle from Alabama. Byron Murphy to the Colts at 15, the defensive lineman. Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, goes to the Seattle Seahawks.
That dude's going to be a dog, bro.
Tylese Fuega goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars at 17. I do like that pick. Cooper DeJean goes 18.
He doesn't seem to be a good fit for me in the Bengals. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that fit at all. But I think if there's any place that their defensive coordinator Lou Almiramo, I think he can make that happen. But if I was
Cooper
Bengals,
Cooper DeJean, I really like in Philly or Green Bay for like a fit.
Yeah, if I was the Bengals, I would have picked Jared Verse, to be honest. But
yeah.
Or Brian Thomas, because you're going to lose T. Higgins. So why the hell would you pick a cornerback? But I get it to a point. Jared Verse goes to 19, where they're Aaron Donald with LA Rams. Graham Barton to the Steelers. The Steelers finally addressed their offensive line. I think that's a great pick right there. Brian Thomas to the Dolphins.
Dolphins have a lot of other needs than a wide receiver.
Yeah, but you know how stupid the Dolphins are. They'll do something stupid like this. Olu Fashanu, the tackle, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. I do like that. Again, nightmare fuel, Tyler. I don't want to see this happen, but at 23 with the Cleveland pick, Minnesota Vikings select Jerzon Newton. I don't like that at all. Nate Wiggins to the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Guyton to the Green Bay Packers. Armarius Mims to the Buccaneers. Adonai Mitchell. They took 2 wide receivers. That's crazy. The Cardinals did. The Cardinals take at 27 Adonai Mitchell from Texas wide receiver.
That dude is he's tall and fast as well. Him and Rome would be a crazy 1-2 punch.
Contested catch rate is pretty meh though. Kool-Aid goes at 28 to the Buffalo Bills. The Lions obviously picked Jackson Powers Johnson. Ladd McConkey goes to the Baltimore Ravens. I think
Mikey Sainristil at 31, sneaking in the first round, huh?
Yeah, Sanders still goes to the 49ers at 31, and Chop Robinson finishes out the draft with 32 to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I do like that pick, to be honest.
That's a good fit for them. That's a good fit.
Yeah, so this was a fantastic draft for us, Tyler, because I feel like we got all the players that we were trying to get. I feel like that there was, like I said, we're gonna bring this up real quick, but I feel like this draft was way better than we could have imagined. And
yeah, like I said, it's more of a realistic draft. It's a draft that fits needs. We're kind of taking into account something that PFF isn't going to take into account is like culture fits, attitudes, motors. I mean, these are things, leadership. These are the things that are really, really important to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. So I mean, you kind of got to look into that. Like, some of those guys are known leaders for their team, and just have that scrappy fight dog in them. Like Dylan Johnson and Nealon from Western Michigan. Like these guys that just have that strong desire to play football and to do well and to have something to prove, have a chip on their shoulder. So I think it's a good draft.
I don't care what Pro Football Focus says. The stats bear it out. Elijah Jones at 201 was a great pick. Dylan Johnson and Jack Westover, we felt like those were good picks. And to be fair, Tyler's reasoning to pick Jack Westover instead of a kicker was the Lions are going to sign Jake Bates. That's what he said, and I agree with him 100% there. Cam Hart.
I mean, apparently we were one of the first teams to contact them, and they're not allowed to have like formal communication with NFL teams until their season is fully over. So I do expect Jake Bates to come in for a camp.
What I believe I read in the there was someone posted the bylaws of the UFL, and the Lions can't contact him and try to make a contract negotiation until after the year. They can contact him and like say we have interest in you after the season, such and such. So I think that's pretty well respected. But this has been like I said, this mock draft is pretty damn good. And like I said, when my mock draft 1.0, Tyler, I had Tez Walker, and I brought him up because of his contested catch rate. I think that's really good. But I think Tez Walker is going to be good. And then
some of those gradings are very skewed because of the fact that he didn't really get to have a full 2023 season. So like his 2022 season, I bet you his grades look a lot different.
And then this was Marshawn Kneeland. Look at that pass rush win rate, the run stop rate. Man. I do like that. So my mock draft 1.0, you probably didn't see it, but we picked the two players. And we picked Josh Wallace, but this is my mock 1.0. It was Kool-Aid, Kneeland, Walker, Keegan, Wallace, and McMahon, and Mevis. I did like that pretty much, but I don't know. I'm big on I like Kool-Aid and I don't like Kool-Aid. Oh, and before we end the podcast, obviously Tyler was off a little bit, but I don't know if you've seen this, Tyler, but the Lions graded as one of the better teams in the offseason.
Yeah.
They're graded with fourth best. Chicago obviously was number 2. Atlanta getting Kirk Cousins number 1. Pittsburgh getting the 2 quarterbacks that they got that they're gonna battle it out. They were number 3.
So I had to. It must be that like the positional value on that for quarterback must be huge.
Yeah. So
because I don't think Atlanta really added a ton of guys besides Kirk Cousins, did they? I mean,
no. So. Yeah, so that's what it is. And look, I was talking with Mayank was on the podcast on Tuesday. We had Matt Brodown from Woodward Sports because he's a Lions beat reporter or whatever. And we were talking to him, and we were talking about how different this draft would be if Cam Sutton never got into issues that he got into. You know what I'm saying? Like but it was so weird how it happened. It was Wednesday. And he was, so.
Yeah, dude, I know. I sent that in the group chat, and everyone's like, "Is this a joke? Are you messing with us? This isn't funny." And I'm like, "No, dude, it's like, I saw it on Twitter from somebody shared it or reposted it from the official sheriff's website, of that county." And I'm like, they're all like, so I kind of like broke that to the team or whatever. And they're like, "No shit, are you serious? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, and luckily we were able to get out of that money, so we should have some extra cap space available for that. But I was hoping that we would be able to see Cam Sutton in a more comfortable CB2, CB3 role, especially with Carlton Davis. With him being gone, I do feel like now more than ever, like the need for corner is ramped up. I think the Lions are trying not to seem and look desperate like that. Like Brad Holmes is like, yeah, the cornerbacks are okay this year. Like they're pretty good, I guess. Like he's trying to like kind of downplay it because I think he has a couple guys in mind that he's really looking at. But ever since Mr. Smartest in the room decided that he was going to trade away our all-pro corner, our cornerback room hasn't been the same.
Yeah, that whole thing with
because Okudah was going to be the new savior at number 3, and poor kid never really got a chance, man. He was kind of under the gun since the start.
Let's just go back to that for a minute. It was so funny because I literally laughed my ass off because at the time they were like, "Oh, this guy doesn't fit the culture." Well, we don't even know what culture that you want, dude. Because to be honest, like you're not really that great. Like you're not really that great. So I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever. Let's see what happens. See if they do anything." And it just never panned out. And it's the sad part about it, but they did a damn, obviously they rectified it with firing those two idiots. But damn, the way that
It
I
just
feel,
sucks because like Diggs and Slay, dude, were still playing really good ball, and we just pretty much pissed them away for nothing.
yeah, I got a bold take on that though. I know we're looking forward to the draft and everything, but like I feel like that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn are worse than Matt Millen ever was. And
It's not that crazy, you know.
no, but people always they always fight me on it. It's always older people too. The older people are like,
Oh yeah, well you never saw Matt Millen take 3 receivers in the top 10 3 years in a row. You're
I
like,
was
yeah,
like, dude,
well,
that was my prime football age. I was like 11, 12, I was 13. Like I was like watching these idiots take like
Mike
Mike
Williams,
Williams and Charles Rogers and Roy Williams and what was that linebacker that they Teddy Lehman and shit. Like at least Matt Millen left us with Calvin Johnson. Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn left us with a good offensive line. I could say that. Like Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow. But the rest of the team was ass. Matt Stafford asked out because of those two. And they're just like, damn, dude, like there's nothing that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn did that we were like, okay, at least they left us in this position here. It was
the only thing I'll give to Bob Quinn is that he was pretty good at getting a lineman.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I mean, that's
what I say. Yeah, so before we end the podcast, there's one more thing I gotta say. Well, two more things, but the second thing will be very quick. But this is a question to you, Tyler. Do you think there is anyone out there that the Detroit Lions can get in free agency or a trade? I'm gonna preface this by saying I do think I've been talking to some people that are in New Orleans, and they believe that Marshon Lattimore is going to be in a trade around June 1st, July, because his cap hit goes significantly down for the Saints, and they need to shed some payroll. Or Stephon Gilmore.
I was just gonna say Stephon Gilmore would be mine. I think that he'd be available in like a mentor role at a pretty I think he still has another 1 to 2 years of good football left in him. I mean, former defensive player of the year, very very professional, very about his business. Seems like a Dan Campbell guy, really. He kind of just lunch pail guy, comes in, goes to work, works hard, keeps his nose down, just gets to it. And then also like having his brother on the practice squad or whatever. We still have Stephon Gilmore, right?
Yeah, we still have Steven.
Yeah. So that might get a little. Hey man, you get to hang out with your brother, spend some extra time, help build him up a little bit. If he ends up being something cool, if he doesn't, we didn't really expect him to, anyways. But I fully expect. I shouldn't say I fully expect. I expect there to be some rumblings of trades or free agency signings, but I mean. I think the Marshon Lattimore, it depends on. We always assume that it takes more to get players because I've seen some trades where you're like, oh damn, that's all it took. If the Saints will take a third and a fifth for Marshon Lattimore, I mean, sign me up. We have 2 third-round picks this year.
Yeah, well, what I heard from people that are like in New Orleans and they follow the team and they're covering the team and they have some podcasts and all that stuff. The one thing I heard is if we traded now for Lattimore, they would ask for a first round pick because their dead cap hit would be like $35 million.
Okay.
And then after June 1st, I think it goes down to like $10 million. So they would take like a third round pick, maybe a second, maybe a fourth, depending how you structure it.
Yeah.
But that's
but there were people saying that Justin Fields was going to go for a first or second round pick, and he went for a sixth. So,
which was just banana lands, to be honest. Like, is Justin Fields not going for a first round pick? But people can dream though. People can dream. So.
Yeah, I mean, I heard all sorts of stuff with that. Atlanta's going to give him a second and a fourth. And like I said, they ship him out to Pittsburgh for a sixth. I also hear that's where he wanted to go. That's where he wanted to be. So they kind of try to do right by their players in that sense. Especially, it's pretty important for a new GM to, if you want players to realize, to see that you respect and you try to work with them. I think that's more appealing for people that want to come play with you and work with you. So, could have been kind of one of those moves, but. I don't know. I just think that it's just funny because people always. I'm pretty sure there were fans out there saying that we could trade. That we could get like what was it, like a third round pick or a fourth round pick for Jerry Jacobs a couple years ago. People overvalue their guys, is what I'm saying, man. I mean, it's like from what you can actually get guys for, you'd be surprised. This isn't Madden. You're not going to get all this crazy shit. But you know what? I guarantee you go out there and you fish a third or fourth round pick, you can probably get some high quality talent from a team that's trying to shed salary cap.
Yeah,
it's just hilarious. Like, oh yeah, man, we should be able to get Okuda. Man, he's been shit for 3-4 years. We should be able to get a second and a fourth for him, probably. Like,
and then never, it was like a 6th-round pick.
I'm like,
so obviously, we covered a lot in this podcast. We covered the jerseys, which are sick. I love the Motor City Muscle jersey. I love the 313 jersey, and I love the One Pride jersey, which is the blue, classic blue. I like that they went back to the old Barry Sanders days, to be honest. And then if you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs in their new fits, the black unit looks great. The helmet looks great for both of them. And man, I love those blue pants. Those blue pants are just, I don't know what it is with the black. It looks great, but they can even do the blue pants with the classic, one, and the black pants with the black. It's great. This is a 10 out of 10 for the Lions on the uniform combination because they totally nailed it out of the park. They didn't do anything stupid with the uniforms. They didn't do anything out of balance. They did everything great. If you missed our mock draft, we drafted Jackson Powers Johnson at 29. 64, we drafted Marshawn Kneeland. Davantez Walker at 73. Cam Hart at 131. 164 was Zach Zinner. 201 was cornerback Elijah Jones from the Boston College. Dylan Johnson, 205, and Jack Westover at 240. So this has been it for the Detroit Lions News podcast. Thank you, Tyler, for coming back on. You'll be on next week, obviously, because we're going to be talking more draft. Obviously, as we get closer to the draft, this is going to be some great stuff coming up.
Next week's probably going to be wrapping up our final mocks and stuff, our 4.0s.
Yep, and then we'll do another mock together, and then we'll figure it out. But this has been a great podcast, and obviously for everyone that's new to the podcast, and you can go, if you missed any part of this episode, you can go to Detroit Lions News Podcast on Spotify, Apple, or where the hell you get your podcasts. We're on every pretty much platform right now, so that's good. But we're gonna be more involved in. We have more episodes coming, obviously, throughout the off season.
This 2024 season, man, it's time to lock in, man. All summer, yep. Joe. We're gonna go to some freaking practices together this year too, man. We're gonna link up and have some fun and maybe do some live pods out on the practice field. It'd be dope. Not in the field, but at the facility.
And there might be an announcement on the page when we get to like the regular season. We might be doing some game day pods at a place downtown, so we'll stay tuned for that. And this has been a great podcast, Tyler. I think our mock was pretty good. I don't give a shit what Pro Football Focus says. Even though they graded it a B, they grade most of the players a C, and that's stupid. Especially Jackson Powers Johnson, like go to hell right there. But it's been a great podcast. We're gonna talk more next week. You'll be seeing us probably Wednesday. I might do a podcast on Sunday for Monday, just because we're getting the draft week. I might be at the draft Thursday or Friday. I'm trying to figure it out, but I might be there. I might be like going to interviewing some Lions fans about the draft picks or whatever. We'll see how that happens. But stay tuned to the Detroit Lions News Facebook page, Detroit Lions News Podcast Facebook page. You can follow me on X at Detroit Joe Chap. What's your X again?
Mine T_horse95.
Okay, and so that's what it is. But it's a good time. So thank you for everyone that watched on the live. We still have 15 people. I think we maxed out at like 75. But it's been a great podcast, and we're gonna post it. If you missed any part of the podcast, you can go back on the app, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and listen to the whole podcast in conjunction. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will see you guys in the next Detroit Lions News podcast. We talk more Detroit Lions football, and obviously we are getting more closer to the draft and more closer to the regular season. and it's going to be a long June and half of July. But thank you for listening.